so just about to get going here. I think what I can do here, I can drop this one here, and that's the stream. Sorry about that, folks. I got confused which headset to go on. This is the much easier one to use. So here we go. 4 tips to determine when to sell. My name's Russell Markham. I'm the Director of Education for VectorVest Australia, and it's my pleasure to share with you the 4 tips to determine when to sell with VectorVest today. It's nice, it's easy, it's fun to do, and I can't wait to share it with you. So as always, just before we get going, let's just transition across, and I'll just quickly read the disclaimer statement here. So please note our licenses here, and you can check us out more per our financial services guide. In addition, please note only general advice is given today. I'm not licensed to give you personal advice. Please speak to your financial advisor for personal advice. Past performance not guarantee future results. Forecasts and backtests used or discussed in this presentation are intended as a guide only, and actual results may be affected by known or unknown risks and uncertainties, and therefore may differ materially from the results ultimately achieved. All right, so with that said, let's get out of here and hop into VectorVest. What I've done today is I've created a watch list of 12 stocks, which I thought would demonstrate the 4 tips when to sell very, very nicely. Okay, and you can practice this technique with as many stocks as you wish. I've picked on 4 here to demonstrate. Now, before I do so, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cover some basic definitions just to assist us on knowing when to sell. All right, so hopping back to the disclaimer statement here, let's go one down below. So I'm going to bring up a couple of terms I just want you to become aware of. First one here is called relative timing, RT. Okay, and we track it at VectorVest every day. It's on a scale of 0 to 2. It's looking at the short-term price momentum taking place. So it looks at direction, magnitude, and dynamics of a price history are used to determine relative timing. So if you're seeing a relative timing falling, it's on a scale of 0 to 2. When it breaks below 1, we want to be careful. All right, so that's just the first bit I want to share with you. Relative timing falling below 1. It's one of the tips to determine when to sell. One of the other tips to determine when to sell is when this sell price is less than the stop price. Okay, so when we have a sell price less than the stop price that we calculate every day. Now the stop price is a 13-week moving average of the share price, so 13-week moving average, and it's adjusted for these fundamentals that we're referring to here, relative value and relative safety. So we're going to take into account both relative value and relative safety. Let me just jump out of there. I didn't bring up the relative safety slide. It doesn't matter, because as I demonstrate here, it'll become apparent. All right, so just some quick whirlwind sort of definitions there, just to be aware of. We can jump back and have a look at them, but let's go through and actually graph and show you exactly how it all works. Okay, first one here, Whitehaven Coal. All right, so Whitehaven Coal, I've got relative timing here on a scale of 0 to 2. All right, so I've got the relative timing score here. You can see where it breaks below 1, we want to be careful. There's momentum going to the downside here. It breaks below 1 and it continues to fall below 1. We want to be very careful at that point. Okay, now I'm going to load up a layout in VectorVest, graph layouts, and I'm going to put on the VectorVest layout. All right, in fact, I'll put on the VectorVest layout. It will be the one I want to put on. And I also want to then select a 40-day moving average. So I'm going to just tidy it up. If you take it a trial to VectorVest, really easy to set this up. All right, you just simply load up the VectorVest layout, and I'm just putting on the 40-day moving average. And I'll just make relative timing jump out a bit more here too. So some great functionality in the VectorVest system, but I'm going to make it just showing you what I'm doing here, just making it all jump out nice and easy to see now. And I'm going to zoom it in a tad. All right, so here we go. The 4 tips to determine when to sell. In fact, maybe I'll make these just a tad less prominent. Maybe they're a little bit too prominent. All right, so there we go. It's the functionality of VectorVest here. Nice, simple, easy to use, and you can create the layout as you choose, as you see fit. All right, so here we are. Got this rec down the bottom. Remember, rec equals sell. It's when the price, remember the definition, when the price falls below the stop. Now the stop that we have here, the turquoise, the blue line here, the stop is calculated on a 13-week moving average of the share price, adjusted for the fundamentals. So when we start to see the price moving, converging towards a stop, it gives us a bit of a warning. And when it does break through that stop, that's when you'll get the rec equal sell popping up. Okay, so here we go. Here are the 4 tips. Tip number 1. Let's say you're in Whitehaven Coal at that point there. It's going up very nicely. Happy days. You're feeling good. Whole lot of buy-rated signals lighting up, telling us that on average, the fundamentals and technicals are holding up. So far, so good. Then you start to see this taking place. You start to see, bit of a drop in the price, right? So quite a big drop taking place. That's your first tip. When you start to see, price volatility and falling to the downside. So tip number 1 is breached at that point. Big drop here. All right, so tip number 1, moving on a bit more. Tip number 2, you see the price breaking through the 40-day moving average. So breaks through here, and we see it breaking through here again, right? So it's a brown line here, it's breaking through. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, relative timing goes below 1. So at this point here, you've got 3 strikes, so to speak. You've got volatility on the price, you've got the price breaking through the 40-day moving average, you've got relative timing going below 1, and you've also got the 4th tip, rec equals sell. At that point there, you've got to ask yourself, why am I still hanging onto the stock? So you can see over here how the price continues to slide away. We have a brief buy rating as it comes up slightly, but then no sooner has that happened, we go straight back down into all those 4 tips being breached again, and down goes the share price. So share price here went from 844, and it's currently at what's the last close there as of yesterday here. Let's do this over here. Have I got to put the last close on here? What's that at the moment? Let's see, bring it up, $7.91. All right, so $7.91. So if you put on the high lows as well, you can see that there's the low point. So there's a sell rating, and look how it falls down to its low point there. Okay, so 4 tips. Let's keep practicing it so it becomes easy to apply. Let's do it again. Pull Bara, right? PLS had an amazing run for quite some time. All right, so if we pull it back, you can see huge run up here, big run up. Then you start to see this happening here. All right, let's zoom in here. All right, you start to see this starting to happen here. You start to see price starting to break away. So the first warning here. So the price and direction are starting to go against you. We break through the 40-day moving average over here. We then have the price break through the stop that we calculate every day, and no sooner has that happened, relative timing goes below 1. Around about here, it's fair to say you want to be careful. Where's the price? $4.42. All right, so I'll just make this a little bit easier to see. $4.42 is where that sell rating took place. So it falls all the way. Look at that low point here. So at 442 was the exit. It's now at $3.62. So it keeps falling quite a bit more. All right, so there we go. It keeps dropping, and then we can start to see it starts turning around here at this point. But effectively, it saved you a lot of money by getting out. And then the buy rating resumes, so that's happy days. Things take off again, but we start to see at this point here, sell rating pops in again. Be careful. Look at that. All 4 steps are being met. Price and volatility going against you through the 40-day moving average, through the stop line. Relative timing goes below 1, 408, and it's now currently at $3.54. Okay, so saved you a lot of money. Saved you a lot of money getting out here at 408 because it's currently down at $3.54. Okay, so keep going on a bit further over here. Let's pull this one out here. This was a very interesting one. You can see new crest. It's a bit of a takeover bid happening at the moment, but prior to that, so let's zoom in here. Look at that. There we go. All 4 steps are taking place here. Let's double check. Price and volatility. Yes, price going massively against you here. Big drop off. Prior to that, there'd been a good run. All right, so a good little surge here. Good run, up it went. But here we start to see the price going against you through the 40-day moving average. Moving on a bit more here. Relative timing below 1. It goes below 1 here on relative timing. Okay, and we scroll on a bit further here and we get rec equals sell at that point there. So there we go, at $24. That's where you want to look to exit using the VectorVest system. It's telling you be careful. So it goes from $24 all the way to a low point there of, what was this low point here, of around about $16. That really kept you right out. So all the way from 24 down to a low point of 16, a little bit lower, it went into the 15s. That is a big savings there in terms of keeping you out of the market. Conversely, we're not covering when to buy today, but just out of interest, look at that. When the buy rating lit up, what was that? $19 odd, and is now at $29. The power of VectorVest signals there. All right, moving on a bit more here. This one here, I wanted to concentrate on more recent times. All right, so Linus here, look at that. All four start lighting up around about here. $7.97, it's down at $6.37. All right, so the power of the VectorVest system. Prior to that, you'd had a nice run. You're feeling good. You've gone up from $7 odd all the way up to $9 odd. You don't want to give away all that hard-earned profit. You start to see the signs lighting up here. Price starts falling away through the 40-day moving average, relative timing below 1, and then price breaks through that rec equals sell, or should I say the stop line, to give it the rec equals sells, the stop line. If I zoom it in here, there we go. It breaches through there, through the 40-day moving average, through the sell, so stop line to give it the sell, and RT below 1, rec equals sell pops up. Where was the price? $7.97, and you can see it's all the way down at $6.37 currently. So a big savings in terms of keeping you on the right side of the market. Although we're not making you money here, we're saving you money. So saving you money is just as important as making money, right? Why give back that profit to the market? All right, let's move on a bit more. Here's NAB, good old NAB, one of our big top 4 banks. All right, so we covered the top 5 banks just the other day. Let's go and have a look at NAB now with VectorVest to protect us. All right, so here's NAB. Price is chugging along. So we had a nice little surge up here in price. We're feeling good. We've gone from $29 odd up to 32. And then we start to see this starting to take place. Starting to turn. Starts to turn quite violently on us. At that point there, we see, through the 40-day moving average. And then we see at this point here, relative timing goes below 1. So you've got price and volatility. You've got the 40-day moving average breach, and you've got relative timing going below 1. At that point there, you may very well consider moving to the sidelines if you choose. But if you want to wait until the rec equals sell, and there it is, it lights up, rec equals sell at $28.10. And at that point, that's definitely, you want to be moving to the sideline to wait to see how it plays out. If you are more of a short-term type investor, otherwise you'd want to certainly put a stop loss in place. And as it turns out, well, pretty much it's kind of where it was prior to that. So it's sort of sitting there at the moment in no man's land. So there it did dip. It did dip all the way down to 27, and it's sort of come up slightly now. Okay. Let's keep moving on here. Another one I want to show you, SM1. This is quite popular with quite a few of our VectorVest subscribers. I've often been asked to analyze the stock. So if you're holding the stock currently, you'll notice that the sell ratings have popped up. So prior to that, we had a little bit of a surge in price, and then we started to see this price slowly starting to fade away, and then eventually through the 40-day moving average, and we sort of noticed this on the technicals. Notice that you're seeing relative timing just slowly fading and fading. If you're seeing that happen, you're starting to see that your technicals just starting to fade away on a stock that you own. You want to be careful. It gives you an early warning signal. So at that point there, it then does break below 1. Here it breaks below 1. Rec equals sell through the 40-day moving average. At that point there, we would ask, why are you still holding on to that stock? So at $3.03, the VectorVest system gives the sell rating. Now again, please speak to your financial advisor. I cannot give you personal advice as to whether you should sell out or not. I can't advise you personally, but using the VectorVest system, there was our sell rating. It popped up through the 40-day moving average. The stop line is breached, RT below 1. There it is at 303. And what are we currently at today? Well, as of close of business yesterday, $2.03. So about a 30% savings in terms of a loss. All right, let's pull this back a tad over here. Let's have a look at this one here. This was interesting. SGR, Star Group, Star Entertainment Group. All right, so they've been in the media for all sorts of reasons, and often not good reasons in recent times. They've been under a lot of pressure. Here, you may have been tempted to jump back in, because here you see the buy rating flashing up. Yes, it was a good little run. Up it went from $2.72 all the way up to $3. So you're feeling pretty good. You're up about 10%. Then you start seeing this. You start seeing it just fading here. Yeah, you see it fading. You go, well, maybe that's just a bit of noise in the market. But then you see it fading a bit more. Oh, and you see it break through the 40-day moving average. And at the same time, you see your relative timing going below 1. There is a big warning. So for a lot of our subscribers, that's enough to say, you know what, I'm moving to the sidelines. Relative timing is below 1. So relative timing is below 1 through the 40-day moving average, and it looks like we're just about to breach that stop line. It's just sort of holding at the moment. That might be enough for you to say, right, that's it, I'm moving to the sidelines. But if you want, you can wait then until it does finally breach through the stop. There, it breaches through the stop at that point there. Bang, it breaks through. And at that point there, you definitely want to be out of that stock following the VectorVest methodology. So $2.56, and it's all the way down to $1.36 odd cents. What a savings. That would have saved you a lot of pain. Imagine those that had held on. Oh, you know, I'll just keep dollar cost averaging as the share price goes down. Ouch. Lose a lot of money. Those that follow the VectorVest methodology, there, get out. You can always look to buy back in. When would you look to buy back in? Wait for the buy ratings to start popping back up again. Okay. Right, let's keep going. What's the next one I got here? GDI. This is interesting. So GDI has been under a lot of pressure in recent months and years. GDI Property Group. So here you had a bit of a surge. All right, so you might have been tempted to sort of hold on. You know, let's say you bought it around about here. Let's say for whatever reason you bought it around about $1, and it starts going up in price, and you're now all the way up to $1.13, up 13%. You're feeling good, but you start to see this starting to take place. Here you go. Price really starts falling off. It whips through the 40-day moving average in no time. The technicals really start to break down on relative timing. You start seeing this. Watch out. You know, you're seeing that really starting to accelerate now to the downside. You want to be very careful. If you're buying a stock, you want the inverse. You want technicals to be coming up to the upside very quickly. Here, it's the opposite. So here it starts falling away, and at this point here, your relative timing goes below 1. Look at that. And everything happens at once very quickly. When that happens, you want to be very careful. When all four light up almost immediately, we've gone from happy days to literally within 2 or 3 days to everything being inverse. You've got 40-day moving average breached violently. You've got the rec equals sell because the price has gone through the stop, and your technicals have gone from a very good score to a lousy score literally overnight. Watch out at that point there. Why would you still be looking to hold on to that stock? So there it is at $1.15. Let's scroll it forward. Look at that. Ouch. It went all the way down to a low point there of, where was it? The low point of about 71 odd cents. And again, for those of you looking, you know, potentially jump back in, we still are heavily into that those sell ratings. There's a few holds popping up, but you know, once you've gone into sell, you're not looking to buy back in until you get a buy rating again. If you're more conservative, all right. So that was a good one to protect you. Let's have a look at this one here. Another good one to demonstrate. Charter Hall Group, a well-known stock among our subscribers and a fairly blue chip stock out there in the ASX 200. And if I zoom in here, happy days, you were doing well, up 12. It was $12 and it ramped all the way up to $15 odd. So you're up about 20 odd percent. You're feeling good and you're holding on, and then you start to see this. You see here, big dip, big dip taking place. It went from $15 odd, and literally 2 or 3 days later, you're down to $13.50. That's a big drop for a blue chip like that. And so you start to get your first warning, price and volatility going against you. Then you get your second warning. I'm through the 40-day moving average, And then for those keeping their eye on the relative timing, they're seeing this big drop off here. So you're getting 3 warnings now, or just about to get your 3rd warning with RT breaking below 1. And then it does. A couple of days later, bang, there it is. Relative timing goes below 1. Okay, so there we are, RT below 1. Price and volatility, tip 1. Through the 40-day moving average, tip 2. Relative timing below 1, tip 3. At that point there, that might be enough to say, right, 3 strikes, I'm out. For those that want to wait until rec equals sell, there it is. It then lights up. The price then breaks through that stop and lights up the rec equals sell rating. So at that point there, we're getting all 4 tips being met. Price of $12.18, and it fell all the way to a low point there of $10.65, and it's currently sitting at $11.10. We want to wait until these ratings pop up, the hold ratings pop up, until we would consider looking to get back in if you're more conservative. All right, see the next one here. All right, next one we've got here. What do we got here? Damstra, Infotech. So technology stock, notoriously volatile, a lot of these technology stocks. So if you're holding on to technology stocks, you really want to concentrate on the VectorVest timing signals and concentrate on our 4 tips. Here, happy days, it's acting like a typical tech stock. It's a penny stock. It goes from $11 all the way up to $25. My goodness, you're feeling great. You've doubled your money. You know, wow, you know, we're away. We're happy. But be careful. It's a penny stock. And as you know, technology stocks can be very volatile. So you're holding on, it goes from 25, and you start to see it dropping pretty quickly. It's now down to 20. And then you see it falling further, and it's through the 40-day moving average, and you're seeing this gradual and continual rollover of the technicals. Look at that, your technicals are just continuing to slide. So if you more aggressive investors, this is one for you to be aware of. You're seeing this. So you don't want to muck around when you start to see the technical sliding away if you're holding a penny stock, especially if it's a technology penny type stock, because those technicals are already sort of pointing out to what's obvious in terms of the price. You want to be careful. All right, and then at that point there, through the 40-day moving average, and here we are through RT below 1. If I zoom it in here, relative timing breaks through 1, price through the 40-day moving average, and just about to break through the stop line that we calculate. There we are. It's then breached. All right, so just to show you the bigger picture, there you are. There's your 4 tips, all 4 tips being met. And there's your price thereafter, 16 cents. And now we're down to a low of 7.5. Ouch. It doesn't have to be that way. You know, when I'm showing you this, it's amazing how many of our subscribers and how many new investors often say, my goodness, Eureka, why wasn't I shown this years ago? We've shown this many times to our subscribers and to the public at large. So if you're watching this and you're getting a Eureka moment, then take notice and apply these tips. They are incredibly powerful at protecting you. All right, next one. Domino's Pizza. We all know Domino's Pizza, right? Maybe you've had a pizza over the last couple of years from Domino's, and they've had a torrid time in terms of their share price. You can see if I pull it back just a tab prior, I'll just clear up all the lines here. All right, they were going gangbusters here, absolutely gangbusters. Up went the share price. Happy times. I'll just do this just to reiterate. There we are. So very nice times. Look at this. Most of the time was buy rated. All the way it went. Happy days. But then this happened. Things really went south fast. And if I zoom in here, so this is the tail end of the happy times. So, don't get complacent. You've made a small fortune. If you've held that stock, don't give it all back to the market. So you might have bought it, I don't know, let's say at $50 odd, and you're now sitting at $150 odd, and you're feeling, smart. I'm up 300%. How smart was I to buy this? Great. But be smart now and don't give back all your money back to the market. So keep your eyes open. Use the VectorVest system. Here we go. All right, so let's come into it. Here we are. Price is starting to roll over. Watch out. Price is rolling over. So we put on our relative timing, we put in our 40-day moving average, and we put in our stop line. Now, I'll do this slowly to begin with. We do it this way. So here we see relative timing really starting to break down. Here it breaks down. and we through the one. It bounces back up, and then we're back through the one line again. So by here, you definitely want to be careful. Here you get your first sort of warning, but by here, the second time it goes through the relative time it goes below one, you really want to be careful. Notice too, look at this, the 40-day moving average is breached here. All right, so at that point there, you really want to be careful. Be careful at that point. You through the 40-day moving average, then you go below one, you go through one again, and you through your stop line. There's your stop line, bang, it breaches through. So around about here, $116 odd. Why are you still holding on to that stock? Let's roll it forward. Look at this. Here we are. So we are still sell rated. So remember that 116. Look at that. We still sell rated all the way down to 63. That's giving back a lot of profit back to the market. You're almost back to your break-even price again. You're up 300%, and now you're only going to be up about 20%. Why give it back to the market? All right, things then turn around briefly here. So we start getting into buy rating, but it barely wants to break out. Sort of just holding ground. And then we're back into the sell ratings again. So again, be careful. At 62, and bring it over here, it gets to a low point there of 52. So you really want to be careful. Okay, so using the VectorVest system will keep you on the right side of the market. You might have recently bought in here, and you're feeling good. I bought in $60 odd, and now it's all the way up to 74. Happy days. I'm up about 12 to 15%. But here we go again. So it's just history repeating, right? You've got to be aware of it and be ready to act. There you start to see the price breaking away quite violently. We're through the 40-day moving average about here. It sort of bounces in and out here. We then see almost overnight, not only does it then really break down heavily through the 40-day moving average, but technicals break below one, and we're through the stop line literally all overnight. Here you'll notice as well, look at this, plenty of notice here. Your technicals are really starting to slow down time and time again. They were breaking down. Look at that, breaking down. So you're getting plenty of notice here. All right, you're then sort of testing that 40-day moving average, and then literally overnight, bang, through the 40-day moving average, through the stop, all instantaneously, effectively. When you see that, that's a real warning when things fall away that quickly. So there we go, at 54, sell rating has lit up, and you're currently sitting at 53. So and did hit a low point there of 44. So you've saved yourself a lot of pain. Imagine holding it from 54 all the way down to 44, having to go through all that pain, waiting almost for it to come back to break even. You could have just got out here and waited. All right, so that demonstrates it very well. Australia Ethical Investment Limited. So this one here has had a really good run in previous times. So we saw a great run up here. All right, we saw a little bit of a pullback there, VectorVest protecting you there, and then it up and went again. But I want to concentrate on more recent times. So let's say you were riding it up here, you were feeling really good, up a lot of percentage points, but then you start to see this happening. Starting the price is turning on me. It's getting quite volatile through the 40-day moving average. You're seeing that the technicals, you're seeing those technicals really starting to break down. It's a big warning sign there. Be careful. Technicals starting to break down. It fights back. So up it comes again. But when you start to see this happening, it's telling you that there might be a problem, right? It tries to fight back, and no sooner as it fought back, bang, down it goes again. That really is telling you now to be careful. It tried to break out, it failed, it breaks down again. At that point there, be careful. All four are being met. Volatility in price through the 40-day, through the stop line to rec equals sell, through the one line on RT. There's your exit. Be careful. So there it would have been at 11. It goes all the way down to a low point of, what was that? If I bring it up here, about $4.90. So it literally halved in price. Here it fights back. So you could have made a little bit of money on the fight back. And then there we go again. It's lighting up again. And pretty much it's been sell ever since. So $5.25, and it's currently sitting at $3.12. The thing is, if you're going to go look to buy back in, let's say here's your sell running all the way across here, and your technicals come up and they're going back down again. Remember, one of the earlier hot topics of interest we covered, we look to buy into companies with a rising set of earnings. And again, I don't want to sort of reiterate what we've done in the past, because I'm just trying to stick to the sell side of things. But if you're going to look to buy a share, remember, you want to buy a share where the 12-month leading forecast earnings is rising and the share price is rising. Is this doing any of that? No. Share price is falling. The 12-month leading forecast earnings are falling as well. And you'll find that when the buy ratings start lighting up, typically that'll be associated with a rising set of earnings. All right, so if any of you are wondering, whether it's a bottom fishing opportunity to pick it up right now, I'm looking at this saying, well, until the earnings start turning, why would I buy into a company with falling earnings? All right, so there are your 4 tips to protecting profit. I hope you found it nice and easy to do. Just keep it simple to begin with. Maybe the easiest way to begin with is just put on your relative timing. All right, so you just put on relative timing, the VectorVest relative timing, and you just look at it and you go, okay, if relative timing starts falling, be careful. Here it starts falling. So I see it here. Yep, it breaks below 1. At that point there, I need to be careful. Look at that, $4.08. RT doesn't get above 1 since. Look at that, it goes all the way down to $3.12. Then the next step might be to say, okay, I'll then also put on my 40-day moving average. Oh, there it breaks below 1 and hasn't recovered. So technical's below 1 and the 40-day moving average breached. Yep, all right, so stay out. And then put on the stop. So here we go. You can see it then breaches through the stop here, breaks through, and it hasn't broken above since. There you go. It makes it nice and simple. And then if you're still sort of wondering whether you should get in, put on your earnings. Go, well, hang on, earnings are still sitting suppressed. We don't look to buy into companies until the earnings start turning. And if you put all that together, it makes it really straightforward. It'll take away a lot of your anguish behind when to sell. So if you've got a stock and you're looking at a certain stock, then come into VectorVest and put on the given stock. So let's say if you own CBA, for example, it's a widely held stock. I'll put on someone like CBA. Right, and I'll zoom it in a bit. So where are we currently? Technicals are bouncing around. They have come back up above 1, so that's okay. Price is above the stop currently, and share price is just broken above the 40-day moving average. All right, so all 3 of those indicators are not being breached currently. Here, they were getting breached. There's your 40-day moving average was breached. Very close. It got very close to breaking through the stop. RT broke below 1. It was bouncing below 1 quite a bit. There, your sell lit up. All right. So there it was telling you to be careful. It went from 97 all the way to a low point of 95. And here we're starting to see the turnaround. Look at that. So price breaking up above the stop, breaking up above the 40-day moving average, and relative timing starting to break above 1 again. Okay, it hasn't quite got a buy rating just yet. So for those that are more conservative, you might want to wait until that buy rating pops up again. All right, so there we are. You can just plug in your stocks, apply the 4 tips to protecting your profits. So I hope you got a lot out of it. I'll just switch back to me for a second there. I should be lighting back up. So it's great not to have to use the headset today. Let us know in the chat box. What do you think? Was that nice and easy to do? Did you follow the technique? When to sell. Just those 4 tips. Take away that stress, that anguish. It doesn't have to be that way. Make it nice and easy. I'll just transition one last time. What I'll do here, if you want to know more, take it a trial. www.vectorvest.com.au/trial, or just simply go to our webpage, vectorvest.com.au, and up the top you'll see a little gold box saying risk-free trial. You can trial us out for 30 days. So each trial you'll get 30 days access for $9.95 USD. You'll get invited to our monthly online VectorVest investment gathering. Our next one is going to be not this weekend, but next weekend. We've got some really exciting stuff to present there again. You'll get access to our weekly videos and essays, and access to all of our portfolios that we track each day in the VectorVest system. Plenty of good ideas there for you to consider. All right, so email us at support@vectorvest.com. Email me personally, russellmarkham@vectorvest.com. You can call our support team 1-800-303-782. It's Australia toll free, and you can chat to our team to find out more. And if you'd like to take out a trial, you can also, if you want, you can effectively call our team to take out a trial. I just got a comment here, just in wrapping up. NHC, did you want me to have a quick look at NHC? In the graphs here, New Hope Corp, so that's had a really powerful run, and now it's sort of starting to come off. All right, so a few of our subscribers have been asking, is now the time to sell? We can't advise you personally, we can't give you personal advice, but using the VectorVest system, look at that, it breached, there we are, all 4 steps being met here. All right, so at $5.40, and it sort of continued to slide down all the way down to $4.90, so well done VectorVest, keeping us on the right side of the market, but look at this, starting to pick up again. Technicals above 1, all right. Share price breaking above the stop line and the 40-day moving average that we calculate each and every day. But just a word of caution, put on your earnings. So remember, we taught earlier in the previous hot topics of interest, we talked about what we were looking for when looking to buy a share. We want to buy shares that are rising in price with a rising set of earnings. At the moment, your New Hope Corp has got a sliding set of earnings at the moment. The earnings are falling. So this would not be one that I'd be rushing out right now. I'd want to wait for those earnings to start turning up, because we've seen the correlation time again, rising earnings, rising share prices. So if I put on the EPS here, there's that correlation, rising earnings, 12 months forecast there on the earnings. Let's just clean it up a bit. So you see the correlation, rising earnings, rising share price. At the moment, we are seeing falling earnings, and if I put on the share price, I'll just put the date line back on. Well, let's clean this up. So you're seeing what's happening here. We are seeing, I'll just delete that one off. We are seeing falling share price, falling earnings. So we're seeing that in reverse. So yes, you'll be getting gyrations at the moment as it sort of is falling, but it's the pattern is continuing to fall as the earnings fall. All right, so just be mindful of that. We want those earnings to start turning around again. Here, the earnings are going up, share price going up. Here, the earnings start going down. Share price is starting to go down with those earnings going down here. Okay, so thanks for that comment there, and I'll just clean this up. If you'd like to know more, take it a trial. Come along to our online investment club next weekend. So for those of you that take out a trial, come along to the club. We've got Zachariah presenting, and he's always very well received with the great presentations that he does. So I really look forward to seeing his presentation next Saturday. All right, hope you got a lot out of it, and keep a lookout. We'll have some more hot topics of interest coming up in the weeks to follow. And keep a lookout on our webpage as well for our upcoming events. We look forward to speaking to you then. Bye for now.